Hmm, it's Spring Festival again. I'm Lu Kong, a special producer for Sally's Book Talk. Really happy to chat with everyone about books at the end of the year. What were you doing during the 2020 Spring Festival? I was quarantined at home reading The Plague, Cancer Ward, Blindness, novels with super fantastical apocalyptic narratives, while watching news from reality that was even more surreal than them. The whole feeling was totally bizarre. At the beginning, whether it was the novels or reality, it filled me with dread, thinking, oh God, what should I do? I haven't lived enough yet. How could such awful things happen? Uh, After a while, I started blurring reality and fiction. Not like going nuts, but the feelings they brought were so despairing, like humanity is doomed. Haha. And sometimes, compared to the novels, it's the real news that gives you this feeling even stronger, making you think humanity is totally screwed, and maybe that's okay. Later on, I got completely numb, didn't care about appearances anymore. What to eat or drink didn't matter, because it was just instant noodles and frozen dumplings. So every day I read novels lost in apocalyptic stories. The Russian literary theorist Bakhtin had this chronotope theory. He thought novels can't show every little detail. All reality, novelists always use some artistic trick to transform real time and space into fictional settings. Thus, different kinds of novels have all sorts of chronotopes, like in Gargantua and Pantagruel. The goal of this novel's author was to overthrow the church's suppression of humanity for medieval Europeans and to show the power of humans as living beings. In the novel's telling, giants became symbols of freedom and unleashing one's true nature. And what made this happen was the chronotope with carnivalesque features working behind the scenes. Carnival's traits are people from all classes wearing masks, hitting the streets, singing and dancing wildly, forgetting their real identities. Within this carnival chronotope, the story's key events unfold. The two protagonists go all out at a lavish feast, pigging out, turning the court jester into a king. Using an absurd prophecy, peaceful life is suddenly plunged into chaos. Bakhtin summarized many chronotope patterns like this, such as carnival chronotope, square chronotope, and so on. While reading apocalyptic novels like The Plague, it occurred to me that this might be another chronotope. The apocalyptic chronotope. In this chronotope's narrative pattern, all humanity faces life or death trials, even competing against each other. Concepts established since the dawn of rational society, time, humanitarianism, science, get completely deconstructed. Absolutely brilliant. And here I should slap my knee. I'm actually living in this chronotope right now. And contactless food delivery guys fearing infection, isn't that just like the situation in The Plague? Literally, hell is other people. Everyone's trapped in limited safe zones. Step out of line and the whole group attacks you, etc., etc. Thankfully, that period eventually ended. Hope I never relive that reading experience. The best is when bookish and bodily pleasures coexist harmoniously. This year I made small reading progress, maybe filled a gap I'd long neglected. I've finally fallen in love with Russian literature. Previously, I'd kept Russian lit at arm's length. Because every Russian classic feels like a brick! Plus their names! Not just long, but one character might have 7 variants! Take a hero named Ignati. Later he's Ignat. His family calls him Ignaska. They finally memorize those 3, then bam! Ignatia appears. Ignatka, downright hostile. I once picked a thinner book with fewer character names. Russian lit for beginners, right? Start simple, yeah? Dostoevsky's Notes from Underground. Sigh. I opened page 1 and stayed on page 1. That experience kept me distant for years. But this year it clicked! So rewarding! How'd I break through? It began with Babel's Red Cavalry. Babel's unique in Russian literature, a Jew writing almost exclusively about Cossack cavalrymen. And if you know Russian culture, Cossacks were historically among the most vehemently anti-Jewish groups. For a long time, the Cossacks would almost raise their butcher knives against every Jew they saw. And Babel, that skinny Jewish writer, actually disguised himself as a Cossack and fought with their army for years. This suicidal act hooked me right into his literary world. To read Babel, I learned about Russian cultures and studied Russia's chaotic early 20th century history. Hmm. After understanding Babel, I opened his famous Red Cavalry, a documentary style short story collection, and was instantly stunned by his language and content. Stories like Quiet War, Green Moon, Letter from a Young Naive but Cold Soldier. Ah, I felt rare reading joy, like falling for Zhang Zhen in a deafening bar. Ah, sorry, I'm a CP fan of Zhang Zhen. I ship him with me. Anyway, this book taught me to enter Russian literature, first understand Russian culture. I read a book called Natasha's Dance. Its subtitle, A Cultural History of Russia. After finishing it, I realized literature isn't barrier free. Reading Russian lit without knowing its culture is like doing math modeling without advanced algebra. Both are unrealistic brain tasks. Russians aren't just passionate, vodka literally means little water in Russian. But they're also brutally harsh. A book called Understanding Russia delves into their surplus culture. What is surplus? Christian idols might be Virgin Mary or Loyal John, but surplus means Orthodox folk idols. Filthy, destitute vagrants who act mad, even naked in winter. Russians believe only these people are God's earthly messengers. Sounds bizarre, huh? Even Russians constantly ask, what kind of people are we? Oh, and I highly recommend Natasha's Dance. It's a must read. Our Sally's book talk covered it too. After grasping Russian culture, reading its literature is like finding a winding forest path that slowly leads into Chekhov's The Cherry Orchard, or Turgenev's Fathers and Sons, Bulgakov's The Master and Margarita, all incredibly captivating with profound insights into life and human nature. Moreover, Russian literature is exceptionally courageous. Nearly every writer confronts life's most absurd and nihilistic aspects, head on, never flinching, always striving toward those terrifying truths of ultimate human existence. If humanity were cosmic explorers, Russian literature would be the most fearless among them. They don't avoid black holes, they'd accelerate their spaceships straight toward them. I must see what's at the end. This reading experience even made me recklessly add My Past and Thoughts to my 2020 reading list. We've covered some mentioned books already. Others await completion. Hope to finish them in 2021. Anyway, I'm thrilled and hope for such small reading progress every year. May every listener of Sally's Book Talk share this experience. Finally, wishing everyone a happy spring festival. Whether reunited or not, may you stay safe and healthy with loved ones. In 2021, we'll continue accompanying each other.